What's up, boys? I really didn't have a beginning to this video because it was all supposed to be bearings and catch can, but the rear bearing turned into control arms. That then I noticed that this front bearing had a little bit of play in there, so I just ended up doing all the bearings, all the control arms, all the like joints and everything. So here's how you do wheel bearings and adjustable control arms on a 3000 GT. I got OEM wheel bearings. I actually got them from Adrian, because Adrian likes to hoard Dodge Stealth and 3000 GT parts. So he just has these sitting on a shelf. Let me show you guys this. I don't know if it's gonna come across on camera. I've shown it before in the back of the wheel too. If you guys can hear it. I don't know, there's just a little bit of play in there. I've looked everywhere. I don't think it's coming out of anything but the bearing, but like I said, these bearings are brand new. Alright boys, starting on this wheel bearing. Gotta get this caliper off, get this rotor off, and I will bring you right back. This caliper is just, you don't know, it's that nut right there, or that bolt, they're bolts, and then that bolt right there, You gotta disconnect your drive shaft. So those 14s right there. You gotta get the nut.
Impact?
Yeah. You're gonna hit it this way. Yep. Alright, we're probably gonna have to press this off somehow. Alright, this inner bearing, I'm just gonna use a socket and an extension. I don't know if you guys can really see. Yeah, you can, right there. I'm gonna put this in there like that and just smack it to get it out. These definitely have not been replaced. Alright, I'm going to take a little bit of probably like WD or just regular oil and clean up the inside of this with a Brillo pad. I know a lot of people use flat wheels. Depends on how rusty it is. I mean, if this just comes right off, I'm just going to use a Brillo pad. If I have to, I got flat wheels I can use. You should probably fill this up with grease too. This thing was bone dry, rusty. This thing should be all filled up with grease. Alright, we got the puller on there. This all's got to come off. This is for your ABS, which mine's deleted, but I still don't want to mess this up if I don't have to. So I'm going to try to pull the bearing off and then force the bearing to pull that off together, if that makes sense. Because if I screw the bearing up, it doesn't matter, I got a new one. But if I dent that, I can never put ABS back on the car. I'm gonna wipe this up with a Brillo pad and then grease it. Alright, you pretty much don't want to cover all this stuff in grease. At least I do. Alright, so I'm greasing this. Adrian's gonna go grease the inside of the rear knuckle. Trailing arm. You really just want everything covered in grease. Make it nice, easy. No, I don't wear gloves because I'm not a pansy. This is a super weird setup with these dust covers because it's like they all just stack on each other and there's nothing really in between them. These all need pressed down. So I'm going to do these all one at a time. I was going to do them all at once, and I actually don't like that because I'm worried I'm going to smush one of them. Here's your outer hub that bolts to your axle. This dust shield goes here. I packed it full of grease. Well, not really. I don't know. There was grease in there. I really don't know why, but there was some, so I put some back in. This goes on there like that, pretty much. And this bearing is gonna sit in there like that, but on the inside, the opposite. All right, boys, back out here. I had something come up. I had to take off real quick yesterday. So this is all together. This is ready to go back in. New bearing, all new dust shields. I cleaned this up with a Brillo pad, got all the rust off. That's all packed with grease. I mean, it's not packed, but you know what I mean. Should slide in easy. This rear bearing, I don't think it's gonna be too easy because I'm not gonna be able to press it in. So we kinda gotta get it lined in perfect. Maybe tap it just a little bit with like a rubber hammer. Get it lined up real good. And then I'm just gonna have to tighten it down when I put this axle bolt back on. It's gonna go on like this. It'll hopefully slide all that back in together. Here's the new bearing, spins freely. Here's the old bearing, doesn't even spin. I think the best thing going to be to do is to put the long axle in, and then that'll help me line up the other bearing. Hey look, I actually brought gloves out today. Now you don't want grease on the outside of this, because you'll throw grease on your brakes. I can't hold the camera and do this. When I take that back out, I'm gonna pack that thing out with some more grease. More grease the better on the inside. Covered that bearing in grease. I just got it sitting in there right now. I can't make up my mind if I want to put that in first, then put the axle in, or do I want to put this in and then push the bearing onto that? Because the bearing sits right on that. All right, I got the bearing just loose in there right now. You can see that bearing's gonna have to come out and go back in later. Damn, did that spin so much nicer? Alright, this one's gotta be pushed in. It's gotta go in way more. Like, way more. I don't like not being level with it because I don't know if I'm hitting it straight. You know what I mean? And right now I definitely know I gotta hit the top. Top didn't go. I kind of need to be left-handed. It'd be a lot easier to hold it this way and hit it. And left-handed people, never around when you need them. I'm just playing. Alright guys, it kind of took two people. Adrian finally got his ass over here. He was sleeping in today. He just held this for me as I hit it. But now there's a new dust cover that goes on this. I covered it all in grease. And this has got to go on. This shouldn't be that hard. It should go on somewhat, and then the nut should get it the rest of the way. Alright, there's that. Pretty much just run that bolt home, and hopefully everything tightens down. It should go in there flush, everything that's shiny right now. Alright, boys. I ended up hitting this on a little bit. I ran the nut all the way on. I just ran it home, hoping that it would suck it all together, and then I would back it off. It didn't really work. It just got tight and started going in a little crooked. So I took it back off. I used my big thingamabobber that fits perfect in there. And a little spacer, and hit it. Got it sealed in tight. And then whatever the torque is on these, you don't want them too tight, because then the wheel doesn't want to spin. You know what I mean? Same thing with like a hub. You get it on the too tight, and it's hard to spin the wheel. So I set my big impact to 2, and I am pretty sure that that is hub torque spec. Number 2 on Milwaukee with a full battery. That's what I'm saying. I'm just playing. Adrian's looking it up right now. We are going to check the torque, but there's no play anymore. And it spins freely. Alright, we're good. We looked it up. It's like 160 foot-pounds of torque, but torque wrenches only go to 150, and we're past that with the impact, so I'm calling it good. It spins freely. That's all you want to care about, really. And there's no way for it to fall off if it's too loose. This half shaft or drive shaft, whatever you want to call this, once it's on there, it won't allow that nut to back off. So you don't have to worry about like your wheel falling off. If you hear some noise, take it back off and tighten it up some more. The same as when I took it apart. You know, put your rotor on, put your brakes back on, put the wheel back on. One of these days, I keep saying it, I've said it 10,000 times, the subframe's gonna come out, and I'm gonna repaint it all, sand it all down, make it all pretty. Because it's the only spot on the car that has any sort of rust on it anymore. Everything else I've cleaned up. I want to get the car running. We're still going to do the flat bottom too. So this is one of those things, you fix one thing and it makes something else worse. So the bearing was definitely loose. We replaced the bearing, but now it makes this upper control arm worse. This is clapped out. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but it's definitely clapped out. I'm pretty sure you can take these apart and just buy this like a Heim joint. So that's what I'm going to do. Because these are the adjustable control arms. Somebody before me put these on there. Might as well just do both of them. So we're gonna take this out. Sucks, it's just opening a can of worms when you start doing stuff like this. Because the bearing was kind of loose, and I think it took some of the wiggle out of that. Now that we got a new bearing, that is wiggling a lot more. Let me just walk you through this. It's really easy, guys. It's 2 bolts. You got a nut there, a bolt there you gotta hold on to, and that'll be that side. And then up here, it's like a ball joint. You got a castle nut you gotta take out. Alright, right there. It's just a ball joint. Take this castle nut off and then it should pop out. Alright, there you go. You can see it a little bit better. Just goes to the top like that with that ball joint and then hooks to that with that. I'm pretty sure you don't have to buy this whole thing. You can just replace these. So I'm probably gonna have to put it in the vise. Alright, I either gotta heat this up or let it soak. I think I'm just gonna let it soak overnight. Adrian's got shit to do. He's got like a hot date or something. That's why he brought the GT350 today. I would like to get these off, because then I can talk you into taking them with you and then going up to Summit sometime. Alright, I don't know. This has been soaking in PB Blaster. I've been leaning on this with a wrench. I don't know how else to get these hind joints out. You put the wrench on there and try to turn it?
Stop right there. It's going up that way.
This thing has been kicking my ass. Alright, I've soaked this in transmission fluid, gear oil, PB blaster. I had it red hot, still couldn't get it. I finally knocked out the middle part of it to get a cheater bar on there. And it's coming a little bit. This thing is seized on there so bad. It doesn't look that bad now, but fuck off, Adrian. Kicked your ass too. You would have just gave up on it.
It literally kicked my ass.
Yeah, it did. That's why you never give up, kids. Well, there's the reason why it was so hard to get out. Someone just forced it in there. I've read this car before me. I've said it 10,000 times. Everything they did to this car, it was like a rush. Like if they had a deadline or something. They ran everything on the engine back together with an impact. Yeah, right there. You see that? Ridiculous, man. Adrian said he actually thinks he has brand new all of these. He bought the kit. So if he does, I'm just going to use his and I'll order him another kit. All right, boys. Next day, back out here. Adrian brought control arms right here. They're the same as that control arm. I was trying to just replace the ends that were bad and leave the actual control arm because it's just a piece of steel. But whoever put this car together screwed it all up. Look at that. This is what they're supposed to look like. So they like forced them in there and then just ran them home like they did on everything else. We already got this side out. I'm pretty sure that's in yesterday's footage. I measured my old arms. They were around 19, but I have no way to tell if that was even right. And there's no way for me to tell rear camber like that. You know what I mean? Like obviously I don't want it dramatic. I'm not trying to have a stance boy. But that's just, I just gotta have it close to where it was, take it to an alignment shop and let them do it. I'm gonna put grease in this ball joint, and I'm gonna put this on. All right, the new ones are gonna go in the same way. Ball joint here, and it's gonna go into that part of the frame back there. All right, I'll bring you guys back. Me and Adrian got to do this together. They ran those in so tight with the impact that the frame came together. So this is gonna go in there, but as you can see, it's pretty tight. I mean, of course it's supposed to be tight, but it's like way too tight on this side. I think I would put these on. The original ones, they ran the impact on there probably while the subframe was out of the car, and they brought this too tight together. So I don't really know. This is way closer. We did the other side. It kind of slid right in after a couple taps, but this is way tighter. All right, to get this one to move back in, we had to take off the ball joint. I smacked this with a hammer, just the rubber mallet, to get it to line up. This is not 100% the right way to be doing this, but I just got a little level. Put it on the hub, not the rotor, because you know the rotor's loose. Put it on the end of the hub. We're just trying to get it level. And then once it's on the ground, we'll see where it goes. It actually should go, that'd be positive in, right? Camber in once it hits the ground. Yeah, we'll leave them, like Adrian just said, we'll leave them both at 0. Put the wheels on, get it on the ground, see where we're at. If we have to, we can adjust them a little bit. You know, do each one turn, 2 turns. And then we can get it to the alignment shop is the plan. Doesn't look like there's that much camber. I mean, it is up in the air, so there probably will be a little bit of... I don't know the difference between negative and positive. I think negative is when it's in the car. Positive is when the top's out of the car. So if I'm saying I'm wrong, make fun of me in the comments. I honestly don't know.
I think you're wrong.
I think there's going to be positive camber once we put it down because the suspension's going to go in.
Yeah, I think positive is in.
Positive is in?
Negative is out.
Negative is out. It's either one of those.
I could be an idiot too, though.
Yeah, but I mean, we each got a 50-50 chance of being right. So this one needs to come out. That one needs to go in. You can see the camber. I don't know if it's going to show up on camera, but this wheel, you can see it's sticking out of the body up top a little bit. So I need to adjust the upper one in, pull the top of the wheel in. This one is sticking way in on camera, it looks like, but it's not that bad. The only thing I don't like about these adjustable arms is that they don't like put like a nut for you to grab onto. You see what I'm saying? Like you gotta twist this. Yeah, that's just a lock nut. Before when you guys say there's one right there. You just gotta twist this whole thing pretty much. And the other one I'm gonna have to put channel locks on. This one I just spun and you see this moves. Alright boys, we got it. All the play is gone. Yep, we're good. Everything on the back's good. Alright, real quick, I don't think I showed you guys how we ended up checking these, make sure that they were pretty close to the same. I got a straight edge, I stuck it on the bottom of the tire, then hit on the car, and then I used the feeler gauge in there between the wheel itself. I don't know if you guys can see or not. You see how there's just that little gap right there? Put a feeler gauge in there, and then same thing over on this side. Stick it to the bottom of the wheel, and then I got the same size feeler gauge, I don't remember which one it was, in between this stick and the wheel itself, or the rim, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure that's not perfect or the way to do it, but at least they're close. And now I just gotta get it to the alignment shop. Real quick, this might be in the same video. This front wheel bearing's actually bad too. I actually recorded me doing these. These are bearings from Rock Auto. It's just crazy that there's just a little bit of play in there, but I mean, I'm gonna replace it. I ordered better bearings this time. I've never had a problem with Rock Auto bearings before. I've used them on my trucks and everything. So you gotta get this caliper off and this rotor off. Bolt there and bolt there. This caliper will come off. Use a bungee cord, leave it out of your way, get this rotor off. And then it's just these 4 bolts to get this whole hub out. Got one there, and then 2 on the other side, and that whole hub will just come off. So these are super easy to do. Alright, you also gotta get this cotter key out. Alright, that's all you really need to get. You should be able to get a wrench on there. Alright boys, here's the old one, here's the new one. The new one's definitely better. It just blows my mind how it can be bad already. Yeah, they're 3 years old. Yeah, just about 3 years old, but there's not even 500 miles on these bearings. And it's just the smallest amount of play. It's not going to come across on camera. I mean, spinning feels fine. Doesn't bind up or nothing, but there's just a little bit of play up and down. Alright, so I got better bearings. I got another one for the other side. I'll end up doing that one day too. I really just want to get this car on the road, guys. Same thing. I took it off. Just bolts on. And that's it. I'll bring it back. There's the front wheel bearing done. So much better. No play in anything. That's super weird, right? I'm sitting here thinking about, like, why is the passenger side bad? You know what I mean? Like, kind of just doesn't make sense. I know the bearings are all about 2 to 3 years old, but they all have less than 500 miles on them, and it just hit me as I was putting this back together that it's just the passenger side that the bearings went bad. Driver's side, front bearing, and rear bearing is still good. After alignment, everything should be good, nice, and tight. I am going to redo this bearing. I'm not going to record it. It's right here in the box. Might as well do it, right? But, yeah, that's going to be the end of this video. So, next video should be back to tuning and driving this thing on the road. I got the catch can hooked up. Everything else is good. I'm going to take it out on the street and see if I can finish tuning it. I will see you guys in the next video.